The story of Khaira Galwan, dacoit, rebel, or Robin Hood of Kashmir.
Galwans or Kashmir's horse lifters are one of the controversial tribes who have put up resistance to the foreign rulers post-Mughal annexation of Kashmir and were famous for their bravery, ferocity, and mobility. The Galwans have traditionally been horsemen, whose occupation was horse rearing and horse trading, but they soon turned to horse robbery as it was more profitable. Walter Lawrence. They had been an organized tribe for many centuries. The Galwans, as a rule and practice, would not live in cities and towns. They would mostly reside near meadows and highlands. Galwans were mainly concentrated in Tregam, Kupwara, Awantapora, Shopian, and Bandipora. Walter Lawrence traces their ancestry to the Dums, village watchmen, owing to their physical features like tall, dark-skinned with well-built physique. M.Y. Saraf, a famous historian, substantiates their ancestry to Czechs, the last native rulers of Kashmir. After dethroning them from power by Mughals, the Czechs were banished to forests where they engaged themselves to rear horses, which gave them livelihood as well as swift mobility. The Galwans were one among them. Khaira Galwan emerged as one of the great leader of Galwans during the Sikh rule of Kashmir in 1820 with around 500 men under his control. Khaira was an exceptional freedom fighter. He was a Venturous fighter and a brave and tough soldier who put up a brave fight against the foreign invaders who came to Kashmir Valley, especially against the Sikh rule. Khaira Galwan was the only challenge to the Sikh rule in Kashmir, and it is said such was his notoriety known that Maharaja Ranjit Singh has to cancel his visit of Kashmir because of the fear of activities of Khaira Galwan. The historians have portrayed Khaira Galwan in different shades. While some have called him a dacoit and looter, some portray him as brave native rebel and fighter, and some as Robin Hood. In the books of the rulers like Mughals, Pathans, Sikhs, and Dogras, Galwans were notorious dacoits who had terrorized the countryside of the valley by threshing floors, taking away brides, and terrorizing population. Muhammad Dinfuk in his Tariq-Aqwami Kashmir and Hassan Shah Khoi Hamai on his Tariq Hassan have painted Khaira Galwan as the notorious dacoit, looter, kidnapper, and perpetual offender. Pir Afzal Makhdoumi, quoting Mufti Muhammad Shah Sadat, a famous chronicler and writer, says that Khaira was an exceptional freedom fighter. He was a Venturous fighter and a brave and tough soldier. Khaira was neither a dacoit nor a looter but a patriotic fighter, who immensely loved Kashmir. Despite their reputation of being notorious robbers, as per the ruling classes, significant sections of the Muslim population in the valley were sympathetic towards them for their fierce resistance to regimes which were seen as tyrant. When Maharaja Ranjit Singh ordered dialogue with Khaira, it is said one of his demands was reopening of Muslim religious places among other demands. Ghulam Rasul Galwan, on whose name Galwan Valley is named, where India and China were recently engaged in a bloody face-off, proudly traces his ancestry to Khaira Galwan. In his book Servants of the Sahibs, he describes Khaira Galwan, his grandfather, as a sort of Robin Hood, who looted from the rich and distributed among the poor. The Sikh governor Colonel Mian Singh put Rs 100,000 on his head. Lured by the booty, one of his close companion Amagani betrayed Khaira and invited him for feast. He was arrested there off guard and brought to Zina Cattle Srinagar, where his skin was peeled off and hanged to death. Colonel Main Singh also killed around of half of Galwans. Thereafter Maharaja Gulab Singh imprisoned many Galwans in Raknathpura, and Maharaja Ranbir Singh banished them to Gilgit Baltistan, among whom one was father of Ghulam Rasul Galwan.